in a normal neighborhood where a girl was watching a boy playing Splatoon. I still need to try the game, by the way. I said I would like 2 years ago. It all started in 6th grade when Miku Sakura told Yukiya Asagi, "I love you." They called it the I love you game. Back then, hearing those words wouldn't get Yukiya's heart racing. They took turns telling each other they loved each other, and whoever blushed first would lose. 4 years later, they were still going at it. Both of them refused to admit those words gave them butterflies. To this day, they were still no winner. Miku told Yukiya to stop cheating, claiming she saw him acting shy, but he insisted it was still a draw. Then, she told him the I love you face he made was pretty hot. Safe to say that one got him all flustered, but he'd remained stubborn. He wouldn't let anyone say whether it got to him or not. Being a nice person, Miku let him have the draw. Meanwhile, Hinako and Masaru watched as their game went on, though Hinako didn't remember their game being like this. According to Masaru, they changed the rules so they were allowed to do anything to win. Worse, one of them had to admit defeat before the game was over, making it an endurance race. Miku and Yukiya were basically childhood friends who couldn't admit their own feelings. Masaru and Hinako could only watch them warmly as they squirmed. With Miku having to leave, she reminded Yukiya about the high school entrance ceremony tomorrow. She hoped they'd be in the same class, but Yukiya, acting tough, claimed he didn't care. As soon as Miku left, Yukiya started crashing out. He felt she was messing with him. One minute she was acting like a precocious brat, and then she starts talking like a kid. The back and forth between childish and mature was driving him crazy. She was so freaking cute. Whenever she wasn't around, he was honest about his feelings. By the looks of it, it was only a matter of time before he lost. When the game first started, Yukiya never felt shy around Miku. He usually lost at everything they did. So this game was nothing more than a chance to see her struggling with defeat. Alas, one day, in their 2nd year of middle school, Miku said I love you, and for a moment, his heart skipped a beat. He thought he was used to hearing her voice by then, but it rang sweet that day. That was when he first realized he had feelings for her. Miku grew up faster than him. At some point, her every move made Yukiya tremble. Before he knew it, even sharing a drink with her made him blush. Ever since he fell in love with her, the I love you game came to be something more than a mere sport. Eventually, he started to wonder what would happen if the game never existed. That sad look in his eyes, the thought of Miku with someone else, made him sad. Then again, this game might be what kept them connected to each other, and for 4 years, it had been going on. At this rate, Yukiya was close to confessing his feelings. He was completely infatuated with her. But if she found out now, the teasing that would come after would make him die of embarrassment. Yukiya vowed not to be defeated. Yet, she kept pushing him around. He'd been working on himself ever since 9th grade to try to get ahead of her. He was starting to get taller, too. Hinako asked about the hair salon she recommended, and he let her know it was really good. However, he asked why his haircut wasn't affecting Miku. Hinako told him it was probably because he was childish on the inside. Did he really think a haircut was enough to win over his crush? The next day, while getting ready for school, Yukiya would pick up a shoujo manga, using it as his guide. He believed it was packed with every girl's hopes and dreams. Although this sparkly thing was a bit much for him, he didn't have much of a choice right now. Sometimes, he wondered if she might like him back. Despite playing the game for 4 years, he couldn't be 100% certain. He couldn't make a move. For that, he felt stupid for being such a coward. Being this way meant he wasn't good enough for her. But Yukiya wanted to be such an awesome man that she'd have no choice but to admit defeat. And when victory was finally his, he'd confess to her. He started fantasizing about going to pick her up at her place. She'd open the door, and he'd be the hot guy standing there, using the classic Kabe-dan. Leaning close to her with her back against the wall, she'd be left speechless. With that as motivation, he'd rush out the front door. Unexpectedly, he met Miku there, sparkling with all her cuteness. Seeing all that beauty, he nearly passed out, but he'd stand his ground. Miku was an angel in his eyes. Noticing how he was feeling, Miku gave a cute twirl in her uniform that only made his heart race more. Seeing his reaction made her so happy. Apparently, she had gotten up early and spent 2 days preparing, making sure her skin was in tip-top shape. He really didn't get why she was so serious about this game and wanted to win. Miku wanted him to approve of her as a girl. After all, she'd always been in love with him. Although her efforts were working a bit, Yukiya would never admit it. She didn't see any point in declaring it herself. It'd be much better if he told her she was cute in his own words. For that, she needed to win. Her pride as a girl depended on it. She had to stick out her non-existent chest. She thought that, not me. Little did he know, she was gushing over how dashing he looked in his uniform. She thought his styled hair was so cute. He used to be such a blob, And now, he got her heart racing. Trying to shake off the thought, she'd display her cuteness once more. Yukiya could barely keep it together, but he couldn't let Miku get the better of him. So, using his special move, he leaned in close, putting her against the wall. With how close their faces were, they were flush. On a second look, Miku could tell he wasn't so prepared for this. Flipping the tables, she'd fix his loose tie. Yukiya's face was all red now because she touched him a little. Not backing down, he grabbed her hand. However, they'd both squeal at that moment. Seriously? Ain't no way these games are easier than just confessing their feelings. For once, Yukiya actually did something that affected Miku more than he expected. She teased him about holding hands, and he responded, saying she wasn't sultry at all, and asking if she was really in high school starting today. To gain the upper hand once again, Miku would lift up her skirt, giving him a view of her thighs. Of course, Yukiya couldn't resist. Now he'd be forced to notice her every time she was in his sight. He then told her not to go to school like that because of how the other guys would look at her. So, she adjusted the skirt back down. Miku thought this meant she finally won, but as usual, he wouldn't give in. Yukiya's younger sister Wakana then told them to get going, or else they'd be late. Rushing off to school, they started blaming each other for being nearly late on their first day. As Miku told Yukiya he was freaking out because he knew he had lost, he suddenly stopped running. She stopped as well, and seeing the cherry blossoms blow past him, she was flush. After he teased her, they continued their run. This was the story of two people at the mercy of the I love you game. Getting to school, they checked the new first-year class placements, and as fate would have it, they were in the same class. Fantasizing to themselves, they were both thinking about different scenarios they'd use to settle this game, once and for all. Years ago, after the loss of her grandmother, Miku's mom would take her to Yukiya's house. She needed to be at work, so Miku would have to spend a day with him. She was a little hesitant, but Yukiya welcomed her, asking her to come play video games together. At that instant, she felt much better, and when she cried a lot, Yukiya made food for her, cheering her up. Recalling these memories now, as she made food herself, Miku was cheerful. We turned to Yukiya's first day of high school. While all his classmates were having fun and chatting, he was all alone. Apparently, everyone had connected before the start using the high school hashtag on Instagram. Bro was a little late to the party. He thought people usually made friends after the entrance ceremony. Miku would walk to his seat, addressing him as the shut-in gloomy loner. She told him he'd be forever alone because he kept refusing to get on Instagram. Yukiya thought the app was trashy, and imagining himself using it made him feel sick. That's kinda how I feel. I've never really been a social media person, but every time I get on Insta, it's just hot girls and racist memes. Takia then says he isn't gloomy or a loner, but a self-proclaimed indoorsy. Brother, just accept being a shut-in neat like me. Since they were in high school now, Miku didn't want people spreading embarrassing rumors about them. So, she proposed they stop addressing each other by their first names. Yukiya's heart was struck, but he claimed it didn't bother him. Of course, she was only kidding. She was the only one calling him Yukiya, so it was special. He tried to hide his blushing face, but she could see right through him. On the first day, she was already at it. Yukiya would turn the tables, asking her to look him properly in the eye and say his name again with feeling. Miku was flustered, acting all cute. She'd get back at him again, saying it wouldn't be bad if people got the wrong idea about them. He was left speechless, but eventually said he only thought of her as a childhood friend. Miku's friends would call out to her, then come over to Yukiya's table. Akane and Yanagi introduced themselves to him. Their cute charm left him sweating buckets and short of words. Miku then told them he was gloomy and that he couldn't speak to girls properly. Akane was shocked, considering he looked like he'd be really popular. Yukiya was freaking out. Elementary school was the last time he had a girl talk to him, but this was his chance to leave the loner status behind. Akane then asked if he was into anime and stuff like that. There was one he liked called Cosmo Connect, and coincidentally, she had watched it as well. They'd start chatting about it, and Yanagi joined in as well. Miku was shocked to see Yukiya talking to girls other than her, but she'd be more surprised when Akane asked to call him by his first name. She'd never even seen him smile like that before. The jealousy was evident, and when the girls left, Yukiya turned to Miku, startled to see her gloomy expression. Miku felt embarrassed. She couldn't believe she was making a face. Realizing she was jealous, Yukiya touched her shoulder, trying to talk to her, but she'd scream and pull away from him, causing the class to turn to them. Yukiya burst into laughter. He never heard her make a sound like that before. When he asked what she was thinking about, she said it was how goofy he looked when he talked to girls. Then again, he admitted that talking to her took the least calories of anyone. The girls were so hyperactive, it scared him. Meanwhile, Miku realized he was trying to make her feel better about herself. She'd call his attention, and he turned to face her. Staring at him, a wave of emotions hit her, and she called his name again with a cheerful smile on her face. A week after the entrance ceremony, she caught sight of him in the cafeteria. Taking out his earphones, Miku started teasing Yukiya about being a loner again. She invited him to join her group, but he remembered that she got so jealous the other day when he was talking to other girls. She got embarrassed and started denying it. After that, she decided to join him for lunch. Miku had already told her friends she'd be having lunch with him. Hearing that, Yukiya was bothered, wondering what exactly she told them. And then, Hayato and some other guys approached them. They were surprised to see Miku in the cafeteria. Hayato started acting like he'd been friends with Yukiya, calling him Negichi, although I don't understand what that nickname means. He joined the table and started rambling as he talked with Miku. That night, Yukiya decided to make lunch for the next day. Since Miku always brought her own lunch, he might get to eat with her again if he made his own. He'd then get a text from her, asking if he wanted to eat together tomorrow. Yukiya couldn't hide his thrill. During lunch the next day, Miku gave him some food she made for him. Opening the lunch pack, he was blown away by how good the food looked. He wondered if she'd always been this good at cooking. However, this was yet another tactic she used for their love game. She was eager for him to try it, because her grandma taught her the recipe. One bite, and he couldn't deny the delicious taste. Then, he started his own game, saying she must have made it with so much love. The bite-sized salmon could have only been made this way because she was thinking of him. And the quail egg was so smooth and glistening, just like her. Miku was blushing hard and sweating out of embarrassment. Seeing that he brought a bento, she suggested they swap lunches. Yukiya thought his was ugly and nasty looking, but the taste brought back memories of her. That's when Yukiya realized this was the same food he made for her when they were younger. Miku then offered to be with him during lunchtime since he was such a loner. Acting all high and mighty, he agreed to make time for her. So they both ended up agreeing on it. This made Yukiya want to practice his cooking more. Back in class, Miku was telling her friends about a good value tea shop. They proposed going out on Saturday, but she had other plans. Hearing that conversation, Hayato started fantasizing about having afternoon tea with Miku. At home, Miku and Yukiya were playing Splatoon online together, and Miku was having the classic losing girlfriend crash out. People in their class definitely didn't know this side of her. Splatoon was one of their few common interests. When they entered middle school, they stopped hanging out at each other's places and didn't get to do stuff like this as often. Miku had already promised to get cake with her friends the following week. Right now, she was enjoying playing games with her dear Yukiya. As the game went on, her voice and breathing started getting to him. He didn't want these moments to end. After a match, he could hear her sipping a drink. It was called Supomon, but he didn't expect it to be a drink for kids. He thought it was so cute. Yukiya wondered what she was doing with that tiny straw and what kind of face she was making. He told her not to drink it in front of others because he wanted to be the only one who got to see her being so endearing. She nearly choked on her drink, but played it off. Then, he asked her to turn on her camera so he could see her face. Miku said she just got out of the shower. At that moment, he imagined her in a towel, but claimed he was as interested in seeing her get out of the bath as he was in leftover milk. He was just saying that to see if he made her blush or not. If she didn't turn it on, he'd assume she was blushing, and that would mean she lost. With no other choice, Miku quickly turned on her camera. Yukiya was mesmerized as soon as he saw her dazzling, pretty face. Then, he noticed she was still holding on to a childhood plushie. She said it was comfortable, recalling how she used to hold on to it when they were younger. Yukiya told her she hadn't changed. Meanwhile, Miku was excited to see his face. Seeing his messy hair and his glasses, she thought he looked as cute as he was back then. She started teasing him again, but he wasn't moved. So, she figured they'd need to use their cameras to play the love game. Later, they'd look for the best angle to place the camera, and Yukiya found the cutest one. Oh wow, another sweet episode. I think their romance is pretty cute. What do you guys think? Subscribe for more, but for now, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.